Do you guys want more practicals in the in this class and this lecture? So I'm going to be doing lots of practicals, and I hope it's going to be a fun class today. You guys will actually understand the beauty of Photoshop. So let's get into the class today. As you always know, I always start my class with a fun fact or a bit of history. So the fun fact today is, do you know that graphic design is very, very competitive? Because graphic design you see today is a very competitive something. As well, when I teach you from the beginning of our class, when you look around you in your everyday life, you tend to find various designs around you. So due to the increment of those designs that we see, the demand for designs, everybody wants to do something graphical. Everybody needs to do something good these days. So that has made graphic design a very, very good opportunity which people can tap into. So I'll be quoting a famous designer which says, it's true mistake that you actually can grow. You have to get bad in order to get good. Paula Shessa, who is a very famous graphic designer, and she started designing by the year 1972. And you can check online and you see lots of her works present online. And maybe in your own spare time, you can go research about her if you know you are passionate about graphic design, because she will help you to actually understand and see through the eyes of graphic design. So it has been easy these days for you to become a graphic designer, as resources are always available to you and information is always available to you. These can be easily obtained, but the question is, how do you stand out as a graphic designer? What makes you so special being a graphic designer? This is on how you present your work in the portfolio. As you can say, a portfolio is a collection of all your best works, and this is the only way for you to create a successful portfolio is for you to practice more often. But when you create more designs, you practice more work, you create more work as a graphic designer, you will actually be able to create a very successful portfolio. And the more work you create, the more choices you'll be able to have to showcase your portfolio. So for today, we'll be looking at some terms in Photoshop. As you all know, I like to emphasize and all of these so you guys can understand the basics. Because looking at this, you will see I've just bringing out some points from yesterday's lecture into today's lecture. I hope you guys can hear what I'm saying. Please, you can just indicate thank you. So I'm bringing in some points from yesterday's lecture so that we understand more about the pixels and generally about Photoshop. Because when you understand this, the basics first, you actually be able to make any designs and anything you want to do. So we will be looking at resolution, and it's actually good you know the difference between 300 ppi and 72 ppi. We'll be looking at that in a bit. So as I say, low resolution image, there are many used for digital services like our phones and our computers. Those messages, those images we circulate online. These are mainly low resolution images. But when it comes to the high resolution images, these are images that you can actually print out. When you're making a design to print, you have to design the work in a high resolution. We use 72 ppi, which is 72 pixel per inch, resolution images that we use for our digital designs, and 300 pixel per inch for high resolution images. We measure bitmap and raster images in PPI. When you look at these two images you can see right now on your screen, the 72 PPI and the 300 PPI, you might not be able to tell the difference by just merely looking at it, because when you ask yourself, what is actually the difference between these two images? They look the same, yeah, they look the same, but their resolution differs. When you zoom into these images, for instance, what I'm showing you now is a 50 times zoom into that image. Let me just go back so that you understand what I'm talking about. This is the image. You can see the lightning here, and this 72 ppi on your left, and your 300 ppi resolution image on your right. When you zoom in a bit, just about 50 times zoom on both of these images, you see the image on your left in 72 ppi loses its clarity. It becomes pixelated a bit. And the one on the right with 300 ppi, it's still a bit sharp, even at 50 times zoom. So this actually affects our designs in different ways. So if I'm to print out the design now by your left, you actually get a blurred printed out image. So it won't be that clear. But when you print out this, you actually get a crystal clear image. You might be confused when you look at both of those images, but trust me, you get a crystal clear image. So we're going to do a little bit of quiz right now. And I'd like to ask you, what do you understand by a raster image? Is it A? Because I want you guys to respond. I like the class being interactive so that we all um, participate in the class. So I want you to look at this right now and tell me which of these is a raster image. What do you understand by a raster image? An image created from mathematically defined geometric lines and shape. An image that can be scaled infinitely and retain its quality. An image that cannot be scaled infinitely, and an image that cannot be scaled infinitely, and an image consisting of tiny squares called pixels. So what your response, Mr. Osaze? D, okay? Any other response from you guys, please? I want you guys to interact with this class. Okay, we'll go forward. Proceed. The answer is actually C and D. Because remember I told you, a raster image, you cannot scale it, like increasing the size or reducing it, scaling the image without losing its quality. When you scale is a maybe a 1080 pixel by 1080 pixel image, for instance, you scale it to maybe 3000 pixel, and is a raster image, you loses its clarity. The image becomes pixelated. So only vector-based images, like maybe that of using the Adobe Illustrator to create vector-based um, object or image, those are the only things you can actually scale to any size, be that big or small, without losing its quality. So the answer here is C and D. Thank you for participating. Proceed. A little bit of warning here. As you reduce the size of your image, you can get a bit of quality when you reduce a size of your image, because high resolution images actually take space, so you might want to save your image in a lower resolution. But when you do this, when you do this, you when you save your image in a lower resolution, or your high resolution image in a lower resolution, you cannot get back your resolution no matter what you try. No matter what you do, you won't get back your resolution. So that's why it's good we actually save our images in a high resolution format. For instance, when you check our social media platforms now, we almost have had one or two encounters with this. You are trying to save your if you're trying to upload your picture on WhatsApp, for instance, or send somebody a picture on WhatsApp or on Instagram, you will notice that each of these are play a role in reducing the image quality of this of your the resolution of your image. I hope that you guys understand that, and it's you guys must have noticed that before. So when you take those images from that website, maybe you upload your designs and you save it in that format, saying, "Oh, I have a backup online." Trust me, you don't have a backup online. The image you have online is actually of a lower resolution. So that's why no matter what you do, try to save your images in a higher resolution because you can actually save it in a 3 pixel per inch and downscale it to a 72 pixel per inch. But when it is saved in a 72 pixel per inch, to a you cannot upscale to a 300 pixel per inch. Hope you guys understand what I'm saying. Hope you guys are following. Okay, so without further ado, we're just gonna go straight into Photoshop today because we have lots of work to do, and I hope you guys enjoy the class we're gonna have today. And just look at this, talking about raster image and Photoshop. So you can actually go through this in your own spare time. So we're going to go into Photoshop now, and I'm going to be presenting my whole screen for you guys to see because I'm going to be switching between various platforms. So you guys can actually understand what I'm doing here. So I'm going to be presenting my screen now. Okay. Hope you guys can see. You can see my image. Can you guys see the Photoshop user interface? Okay. I trust you guys can see this. Okay. So this, we're talking today based on photo manipulation, and we talked about adjustments and other vibrancy, saturation, hue, and everything yesterday. So today, we're going to be looking at how you can apply those things and a little bit more to create something this spectacular. This is actually a work of Photoshop. I guess this can be possible um, on a normal scale. You can't create something like this, no matter how good of a photographer you are. So you have to use Photoshop to create something like this. You guys must have heard about double exposure. You must have seen images like this online, double exposure images. Those images are created using Photoshop. So hope you guys can see the image. Okay, so we're going to be going step by step to see how this you see here was created. You can see there are various layers here. We have various layers, and today I'll be teaching you guys how to use your mask layers. So there are various things you actually learn lots of things and how to use some certain tools by just creating this. So I want you guys to pay attention to each and every step we take here. And I hope if there is anything you guys don't understand, please you can just call me back for me to go over it again. I hope we are all together in this. Please you can just indicate to if you have any things or to call back my attention to during the course of the design, you can just let me know. Okay. So let's get started. So before I did this, if you notice, there are about three different images here. You have the trees here, and this image of a cave and image of a man here. So there are various ways to achieve this because we're going to be cutting out our images and various things for you to see how these are being done using Photoshop. So there are various ways for us to achieve this. I hope you guys understand how to bring in picture into your Photoshop by now because I have a picture of the cave here, which I used. Just a minute, please. So, okay, it's getting a bit slow. the cave here, and we have the forest here. Okay, we have the forest here, and we have the picture of the man here. So these are three pictures I downloaded off the internet. You can get any pictures like this, stock images, and we tell you guys areas where you can get free stock images like this of good quality and high resolution to work with. Okay, so the combination of the three images now form what we have here to give a double exposure effect. So I'm just going to close this so that we can bring each and every one of our images into Photoshop again and see how it goes. I hope you guys can you guys see my screen? I want to make sure you guys are following. Okay, so I'm gonna bring in my images now. You know, I told you you can use file, open, or you can simply go through your file manager and bring in the image you want here. So we're going to use the traditional means here. File, open. Just wait for it to load a bit. Time is a bit slow today. File, open. And for the sake of this, I have a tutorial folder here where I have my images. So when you download your images, you find each and every one of your image in this place. So we're going to pick our image of the man. So I'm going to, instead of selecting them one after the other, I'm going to hold my control key to select the three images I want. The man, putting down my control, I click on the cave and the forest. So I have my three images selected here. I'm going to open them into Photoshop, and Photoshop will open them in various tabs of their own, as we have known from the previous lecture and from our practice, we'll say. Okay, just wait a minute for it to load. We have our forest here. This can actually be faster, but depending on the speed of your system, my system is just a bit slow today. Maybe it's because I have some things up. So we have the image of the man here, the forest, and our cave. So now we're going to recreate what you see here using that three images here and understand double exposure effect. So now let's just quickly, sorry, just quickly, 1 minute, just a minute, please. Okay. So we'll create a new file by going to File, New. Sorry, just a bit slow. Let's try that again. File, New. Okay. Here we have our dialog box. So I'm just going to be using the custom 7 inches by 5 inches. But when you turn that into pixels, you have 2,100 pixels by width and 1,500 pixels in height. So we're going to use the portrait orientation, changing that. So we're going to name this our file. Let's say exposure, exposure, exposure 2, because I have exposure 1 already. Then 16 bits, we're going to use our 16 bits instead of 8 bits because we want more details in our design. So I'm going to tell you guys about the 32 bit and 8 bit and 16 bit difference. I'll let you guys know about that. So we're going to use our 16 bits, our RGB color mode here. Our resolution, which I told you, set at 300 because we might print this. I want it to be of high resolution. Our background is white, color profile, and every other thing okay. Then we create. Now we have a white canvas here. I hope you guys are following. Please just indicate if you are following. Okay. Yes. We have a white canvas here. Now the first thing we have to do is bring in the image of the man here. Let's just look here and see the first thing we did here. Get rid of that. Okay, we have a layer of the man here. Go to exposure 2 and the man image here. Remember I told you you can actually move this image first by using your move to selected and clicking on the icon here, the lock icon to unlock your image. But there's also a means you can do that. Remember I told you there are lots of ways you can go around in Photoshop. So you can simply do this by just use your move to selected, click on the image, drag to exposure, and drop. Okay, there's a dialog box here showing lower quality. Okay, because that image, the image was an 8-bit, so I'm just going to toggle this off. Yes, so that you can see what we are doing here. Just a minute, please. Okay, we have our image in here. I'm just going to resize this, just zoom out a bit. I'm going to resize the image so that using our Ctrl T as a shortcut, or simply going to edit and free transform. Or I use my Ctrl T here, so I'm going to resize to the size I want here. Okay, I think that should be okay. Yeah, we'll simply zoom in so you can see what you are doing here. So now you ask yourself when you look at this image now, how are we going to get rid of these colors around? So you have, because this, I had to cut the background off the image. So you're going to know how this is done today, how you can cut images like this. Cutting an image, there are various things you can use. You can use the magic wand. The magic wand too on your toolbar here, this third icon here. Magic wand. If you can find this, you can simply right click on it. Sometimes it might be on the default object selection, quick selection, magic wand. Each of these tools are various tools you can use to select a particular part of your image. You can use it to select a particular part of your image. Sorry. So now I can simply click on this. Just click on the white space here, and you can see the margins here, selecting my image here. But it's not neat. It's not selecting it accurately, no matter what I try now. You can reduce the tolerance level. The tolerance level is a selection of the your magic wand tolerating the colors that are present in that part here. So let's simply increase this a bit so that we want to click on this bright side here. You're having all messed up selections all around. But there is a good way you can actually make this selection. But this way works when you have an image that have two distinctive, like each colors are way distinctive from each other. You can quickly select a color from another. But when you look at this image, I'm just quickly going to Control Z here and undo all we have just done. Or you simply use Control V to deselect your selection. Let's you check, look at that again. When you have a selection like this, to deselect, you use Control D and you make your selection. Moving back to the move tool. So now, because of the color contrast in this image, selecting using the magic wand or you have to use your time and all that will take you a whole lot of process. So to make that easier and to get a very good selection, because when you take a look at it here, you find that let's just zoom in a bit. You see a bit of hair and all this here. Because when you use that too, you won't be able to get each and every one of this. But we're going to try to get this using the channels. You find the channels layer here, where you have your layers, your properties, or channels. Okay, let's say you can't find channels. Let me just quickly remove this from here. If you can't find channels in your Photoshop, but now we're getting into the more technical part. If you can find your channels and you have just your layers, properties, and comparison and all this here, you can simply bring up your channels by going to your Windows menu here. Click on Windows and look for your channels. There you have your channel. It's unticked because it wasn't present here, but I have to add it now. Channels, and you find the channel window, your channel floating window here. We can simply just add it to this window here, like we did to our adjustment yesterday, and rearrange your liking. So I just prefer it being here because I'm working more with channels and layers. So we have our layers, we have our channels. Please, did you get that? How I did it? Please indicate. Hope you guys understand that. Okay, let me go over that again. One more time. I said we're going to be making use of our channel. Yeah, let me close this. We're going to be making use of our channels to make selection due to the color contrast. And the best way to make selection when it comes to you have contrast issues like this is using the channels. To find your channels, you go into the Windows menu here, Windows, look for your channels. Here you have your channels. Simply add your channels. Okay, see, it came in directly here because I made that selection before, but sometimes you get it in a dialog box this way. So you simply click on the box because we have to rearrange our interface to be more user friendly. So you click on the floating window here and add it to your layers panel here and simply rearrange because I want to make use of these two mostly. So I'm rearranging it to my own preference. So you can rearrange it to your own preference. I hope you get that now. Mr. Kabi, hope you understand now. Okay, so moving on. So after your channels, after you set up your channels, then let's go to our channel tab here. You find that there are various options, your color options here. These channels tells you the various color channels that are present within this image. You can see there is the red, the green, and the blue present within this image, and the red RGB here together. So to make our selection, sorry, my system is a bit slow. Okay, to make our selection, we have to look for which of these channels have the highest contrast here. So we check the red, blue. Okay, you can see red, it's a bit bright, green, a bit bright, blue. So we go for the blue because we want something a bit dark so we can make our selection. So please take note now. We have to duplicate this layer blue here because we're going through this process because we want to make a perfect selection. And once you master this, you're able to make perfect selection in Photoshop. So we with my mouse here on this blue channels layer, I right click and duplicate my channel. So let's just leave it as blue copy. Okay. I duplicate my channel here. Toggle on your duplicated channel and toggle off your previously selected channel. Hope you guys are following. Did you get that? Okay. With your blue copy channel here toggled on, which first thing we did, we duplicated it, then we toggled on the blue copy layer in our channels here. Then now, you on your keyboard, if you're using a Windows keyboard, you use Control L to open up your levels dialog. Your levels, Control L for your levels. Or if you are using a Mac or an Apple PC, you use Command L. Hope you guys got that. Okay. So you use Command L. But since I'm on the Windows here, so I'm using Control L. Let me just close that again. On your layer here, Control L. Sorry, for Windows, I'm using the Windows here. Control L, and it brings up your level option. So what we want to do with this level is try to separate these pictures into more of blacks and more of white. So remember I told you yesterday that this part indicates number of black in the image, gray, and number of white in the image. So we're going to reduce this a bit to get that dark contrast effect here. And we reduce the white a bit so that we can make our surrounding a bit bright here. So let's reduce this a bit till you get that black and white effect here. Okay. Yes, that's actually okay. So as not to lose details around the hair and the selection. Let me increase this a bit because I need to gain some details on the hair. Okay, some details on the hair. You have to do your level adjustment pretty good. Increase this. I'm trying to get the beard there. I don't want the beard going out there. So we have our black and white. Let's just leave it that way. Let's make a little bit of adjustment. Okay, we still have our details here. So I guess that seems cool. Then just make adjustment to get more black here. That's okay. Then when you're done making your adjustments in black and white, you click your OK panel, your OK button. Sorry, hope you guys understand it now. Please, if you are following, I want you guys to follow this step by step. Okay. So now you use your brush tool here to remove this white patches you see here, because we have to make the selection all black and white. So you select your brush tool here, your brush tool with the command B, shortcut B, or simply go to this place, B, selecting your brush tool. You use your brush tool to remove this white parts here on this image. So let's just zoom in a bit so that you can see. Be zoomed in there. You can see it's retained most of the details here. So we can just reduce the size of our brush here by going to this layer here. And let's say take it to 108. Okay, 81. Let's just reduce it. Okay, that seems okay. Then the hardness of the brush to 100 to make the brush harder so that the effect of your brushing can be harder. I hope you guys are following. Okay. So when you're done with that, you go select. Now we have to remove the white patches in this image by simply zooming in a bit so you can see. Okay. It's a bit soft. Hardness. Okay, my opacity here was reduced. So opacity 100%. Used to be at 100% just because I made some design. So it's at 25%. So make sure your opacity here is at 100%. So now You clean off those white patches. Sorry, make sure you are careful. Control Z. Let's reduce the brush size a bit and zoom in a bit further. Yeah, removing the white patches here in the image. Removing the white patches in the image to ensure it's all white and black only. So let's clean that a bit off. Now you can see the details this has. But if only we use our um, magic wand, you won't get each of these details. So this is another trick. Most designers don't really know about this, but it's a trick you can learn on how to cut your image out perfect. So you clean that. So let's take a bit of this part here and just make it black. And this part of the eye is black, and this little part of the nose here, make it black. Then this part here, just to get more details here. Okay, black. And okay, we have to retain the highlights in this head, so we have to. Let me just reduce my brush size a bit. There's a shortcut of reducing your brush size, but you can simply go through this process of reducing your brush size. So we just reconstruct so that we can get that um light luminous on the forehead here in the image. When we are done cutting, you just get this. Okay, so we have that. Okay, so we'll zoom out a bit, and you can see we have the selection here. But when you look into the image, you find a little bit of gray areas around your image here. So remove these gray areas. You, with your brush tool selected, so okay, with your brush is selected, you go into the blend mode here and change from normal to overlay. This is a trick you can use to remove this. Then let's increase our brush size a bit. Okay, then we just simply, okay, you see I tried painting, but I'm having more black spots there. Let's simply undo. Now you have the foreground color and the background color. Because you are working in this as a mask now, you have to change your, since I want to clean off, I change my foreground color because it's in black. I simply change it to white using this, or simply using X on your keyboard, X, X. So now with white being selected, you simply paint over the spot here to remove the dark spots there. You can simply just zoom out a bit and make sure each and every part here is white to remove that area which is gray. Okay. Hope you guys understand that. You get that part. Please just signify if you got that part. Okay, so we'll move on. So after cleaning this now, you have a perfect black and white selection here. So the next thing you have to do is go over back. Let's go back to our move tool first. Maybe using V or simply clicking this move tool. Now you go to your channels layer with a blue copy, which you are making your adjustment to. You press the Control key. Hold your Control key on your keyboard till this icon changes. It's just a hand here, but with my control, it has a square like attachment to my hand. So with this square like attachment to the hand here, you simply click on, just click on it, and it creates a selection around your image here. You can see the selection here. Create a selection around your image here. So we go back with that selection being selected here. You go back to our layers channel, and you see the layers is in red, selected because it has a selection here. Then you add your max You mask this layer we created to our layer 1. That's our channel layer here, the blue copy. You mask it to your layer 1 using the mask icon here. Mask. Now you can't see anything, right? You're only seeing the background. You can see how we neatly cut out the image here. But to see what we did here now, you use your Control I to invert. You invert using Control I. Control I. Invert the image. And now you can see the perfect selection here of our image here. Still retaining the details and everything here. Just in case maybe you lose a little bit of highlight around this area, maybe when making your selection you didn't get that, well, you can just simply make a little bit of adjustments using your brush tool also, but you must be selected on your layer mask here. Okay, let's rename this to man. That should be okay, so that we understand the names of our layer. Selecting our layer mask, you can select your brush tool in case you have any um connect maybe any mistake here, and simply pen out to, okay, your foreground color is on white, so change it to black and simply make little adjustments here.
Emmanuel,
Can you hear me? Okay.
Emmanuel, please, can you go
Oh,
over
okay.
the second part?
Okay, you see, you didn't get the mask part. Oh,
Yes,
okay.
Oriaki
Let me go
didn't
over
get
that again.
it. All right.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Let me go over that again. So let's go over that again. Control Z. Let's undo and undo all that we've done. Control Z. Z. Okay. Control D. On our channels layer here, remember we have the blue copy layer here. Control, holding your control on your keyboard, select the layer here to create a selection around your just edited image. I hope you are following now. Okay, so around the just edited image, then you go back to your layers panel here, where you see the layer 1, which we are working on, is being highlighted with red here. Now, which we created in the channel is a mask. A mask is more like using an illusion to cut out something from an original layer, because you don't really need to start making alterations to the original layer. You can use a layer mask to do these alterations. So now, with your layer 1 selected as it's been highlighted, you go down to this little menu you have here. When you hit it, you find your first one is your adjustment layer to add various layer style. And the second icon here, okay, actually the third icon here is your layer mask. You click on this here to add your layer mask to your layer 1. That's, there you go. So you can't see the image yet because it's not inverted yet. You have to invert your image to see what you just cut out. You can see you are seeing just the background and not the image itself. So you use the shortcut Control I to invert your selection here. Control I to invert your mask. If you on invert now, Control I, you see, looking at this part now, you have the white background here and the selection in black. So your selection has to be in white for you to see what you selected. Sorry, pardon. So you have to go Control I to invert your selection. Please, hope you understand that now. Mr. Oriaki. Okay, thank you. Please, any if you don't understand, please, Miriam, you just have to assist me to prompt me to know if they don't get that part. Thank you. So now you have your selection selected here. The next thing you have to do now is to bring in our next image. Oh, okay, let's bring in our forest. You bring in the forest image into your exposure layer. With your move to selected, click on the image, drag to the exposure layer, and bring it down here without releasing my mouse here. But when it's in here, then I release my mouse, and we have our image, forest image selected. You see, it's way big, very big here. So you have to transform the image here using edit, free transform, or simply Control T for the shortcut. Then we adjust our image here. Zoom in a bit. Adjust our image here. Okay, now let's go back and we have that's okay. That side should be okay. Now let's go back and check on our original creation. Okay. Now you see this tree here is inverted. It's upside down. So we have to turn that image upside down. So go back to our exposure 2 layer, which are creating here. By right clicking on this image, transform first, Control T to transform so that you can transform the size on this. Right clicking on this, we flip vertical. Control T first, you right click on the image, you flip vertical. So now we have our image upside down, vertical. So we'll simply just reposition this a bit, just reduce this a bit, reposition this. Okay, that seems cool. Okay, we like our image like that. We just move this up a bit so that we can have more space to walk here. This to the center and have more space to walk. Hope you understand, you guys understand how I did that right now. Okay, let's see. Now we have to do something similar to what we did to this our image, because we have to get rid of all these clouds and all these extra images here. So we'll just do something similar. Y selected on, look, let's rename this as forest. So while we are selected in our on our forest layer here, we go to channels, and there you have the various channels here. So remember, we look for the channel that has the darkest contrast to work with. So let's check the red, the green, the blue. Okay. The darkest contrast for the forest, not of your previous image, for your forest. So we have the green is a bit light, the blue is a bit light. No, we don't use it because this is for your previous image. So I think the red is a bit darker here. So, quick question. What's the next step we have to take now after doing that? Please, I need you guys to respond. Okay. The next step we have to take is using the okay, you have to duplicate your email layer, your red layer here first. By simply right clicking on this here, right click, you duplicate your channel. Let's say red copy, let's maybe that red copy. Then turn off your red layer here. Turn on your red copy layer and turn off your red layer here. Now you have your red copy layer. Hope you guys are following. Okay, that's good. Then the next thing you do now is using the shortcut Control L to bring in your levels because we use our levels to make the image in black and white so for easier selection. So Control L on the red copy. We make our adjustments. Usual. Make it a bit dark and get rid of the white areas here. I'm gonna make some little adjustments here. So let's see what we can do here. So that's fine. That's fine. That's okay. When you're done, you click on OK. Then remember, after making your contrast adjustments, you click on your Control key, select your channel layer here, go back to your layer, have this here, your layer being selected. Then you go back to your channel layer here and apply the mask to that layer. Remember, you have to invert first using your Control I. And now you have your forest here being cut out. So we have to just make a little adjustment to this by holding down. Let's just resize this. You transform Control by holding down alternate shift. You hold to upper part of the margin and just readjust this and stretch it out a bit. When you are okay with that, good. Simply just reposition this where we want it. Just leave it here. It seems okay. But when you look at this now, you can find a little bit of the previous image underneath that part. I hope you guys got the last step. Okay, because we're moving on to a new step now. Okay, let's proceed. When you look at this image now, by simply, okay, let's just toggle off our forest layer here so that you can see what I'm talking about. You find some sharp edges here, visible underneath the forest layer here. So we don't want that to see. We want to kind of like blend it with the forest layer. We simply toggle these off so that we can see what we want to do. Then what do we use to blend now? Using our brush tool. So our brush is very essential. You use a brush tool to make lots of things in Photoshop. So we can use our brushes to clean the sharp edges by selecting the brush tool with the shortcut B. Now, when you look at this, you see I can't make any selection. Why? Because I'm on the forest mask layer here. Because I want to work on this image, which is the man layer. I have to select the mask of the man layer here. And now you can see the brush is activated. Just in case you're having that difficulty, make sure whenever you are using your brush tool, you should be on the mask layer. Okay, so we simply let's increase the size of the brush a bit. Let's go to 146. That's fine. Then for this, because you want to blend in the image and not necessarily cut out that part, so you reduce the hardness to 0 to make the brush effect a bit soft and subtle. Then your opacity should still be at 100. So we simply just get rid of this. Okay. Brush layer selected. Get rid. Okay, having a bit of issue here. Brush 2. Okay, now the reason why what changes I was making was not visible was because my mode is an overlay. You know, I told you I made this design, so most of the Photoshop saved most of my settings in overlay. So in the previous design, so I have to change it now to normal. We're going to make use of overlay just a bit so that you understand how that works. So your mode should be on normal for your brush to um, reducing the bright hardness to 0. We simply okay. Now clicking on this, now I'm bringing back my background to the image. So let's undo that. And your foreground color, because you want to clean off your layer mask. So your foreground color set to black. Please, I hope you guys are following. Okay. Your foreground color set to black. Then you simply just slightly clean this sharp edges here. So we have like this blend effect into this. That's a bit too much. Okay. That's okay. So we go back now. Let's talk on our forest layer and see. Now you don't find that pointy part here. It's no longer visible. So it's hidden underneath the image. And the next thing we have to do now, we have to confine this tree here. The tree here, we have to confine it to this image here. This part is a bit tricky, so you have to this part's a bit tricky, so you have to pay close attention to it. We have to merge these two layers together simply by holding your control key in your keyboard. You click on the person. Let me just quickly rename this. I named this before. Name it as man. I named this before. Okay. We click on the man layer here. Holding your control key, click on the layer mask to get your selection. Now I'm having multiple selection and I need just this selection here. Why am I having the selection on the sides here? Because if I proceed with my design, you see it actually won't work in the next step we're going to do. So I have to get rid of all these selections here, and I'll show you in a bit why we have these selections here. So let's just quickly select this. Now let's make this a bit large thumbnail so they can see. Now when you look at this layer mask, you see there's a white background showing here. So when I click on my control and selecting the layer mask, it selected the white background too. So I'm just going to clean that white background off. And who can tell me how will I do that now to clean that white background off? Well, I hope you guys are following. Okay, let's just proceed. Oh, the magic one, no. Remember when we have to clean off something in Photoshop, like I've been cleaning off some parts of that image, you use your brush tool. The brush tool is what you're using to do most of your cleaning because we are working with mask, layer mask. So you use your brush tool. You use your magic wand when you want to select some parts of an image. Or I will just go through that so that you see how that works too. So now you select your brush tool with the layer masks being selected here. You click on your brush tool here. And let's just simply clean that part off. So as you can see, as I'm cleaning this part off now.
Sorry, Mano. Mano, please hold on.
Okay.
Mr. Kabir. Please, if you are following, can you signify in the chat box? I'm not so sure it's here. Please continue.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, good. Thank you. I was just about messaging you. All right. Thank you. Please continue, Manuel.
All right.
Are you following?
So
Mr. Kabir, are you following? I hope you understand everything that has been. Not totally. Okay, please, where exactly are you not so clear with? So stop and go over it again before it proceeds. All right. Okay,
okay.
Mano, a lot of questions after this lecture, so be ready.
All right. No problem.
Please
So
continue.
we simply select on our layer marks here. With that being selected, remember we are trying to clean that other part here. So with my foreground color as black, I clean off those extra selections which I was having. You can see the changes here. It's going off. Just quickly increase this brush size, make some quick. Let's simply clean that part off here. Okay, so now it's totally just this selection you have here, just the selection. So I go back to my move tool. So holding control, I click on my man selection layer here. And now you can see it's selected just the selection here, which I want here. Hope you understand that. Okay, so let's proceed. So the next thing you do after doing that, you press on your keyboard Control Shift and I to invert your selection outwards, so that when I'm making changes to my forest layer to blend it, it won't affect my background or that other image here. Let me go over this again. Control D to deselect everything. First of all, I have to select my man image with Control I. Holding on the mask layer, select, and I have the selection. Now I have to invert my selection outwards, so that I will have just the forest layer on its own here. Yeah, exactly. So now I use the Control Shift I to invert my selection outward. Remember when you were inverting your mask, you use your Control I to invert your mask. But now I'm inverting my selection outward. So I use my Control I to invert my Control Shift and I to invert my selection outward. Okay, I hope you guys are following. Okay. Now I can make changes to my forest layer here. So I go to my forest layer mask, which I have here. Let's quickly check back on this, see if we're on track. Okay, go finish with our man, now our forest layer mask. So we are on track. Let's go back here. So click on our forest layer mask here. And again, the brush tool. So we'll be using here, we'll be using a soft brush. Go to our brush tool selected and ensure that the brush is soft, the hardness is 0, and size is a bit big. Let's reduce that a bit. Okay, let's increase that a bit. Increase just a bit. Okay, that seems to work. So we simply just clean. So now you see if I make any adjustment here, it doesn't work because because of the invert selection. So whatever adjustment I'm making using my brush tool here, it applies just to the forest layer. So I'm simply going to just clean this to blend it in. I just blend this in, simply blending in. It just that's a bit too much. Blend this in a bit. Looks okay. Let's take that out. That looks okay. Seems let's just quickly do this neatly. Simply blend this out. I just feel like give it a flow with the shoulders. Okay. Take this out a bit. That looks okay. Then when you're done with the selection invertedly, you deselect using, okay, let's go back to our move tool first. Now you deselect your selection using Control D. You deselect this. Now you have this selection. So let's check on our original image and see. Okay, looks similar. Yeah, but I'll work here. So now we're going to bring in our third image here, which is our cave. Here. So using our move tool, click on the image, drag to your work layer here, and drop with your Photoshop to do the trick. Loading, loading. Okay, there you go. There you have our image. I just simply zoom out a bit. You have our image. Control T to transform the image. Will split big. It will simply just reduce the size of the image. And reduce this a bit. That should be okay. And that's okay. Now we have to blend this image to the man layer here. We have to blend this new layer which I have here for our cave to the man layer here. And let's quickly rename this as cave. We have that as cave. So we have to blend our cave layer to our man layer. So simply make a selection using control, holding your control, you select on the man layer mask here. Now you have your selection here on the man layer mask. You have a selection here on the man layer mask. Then you have to create, you see, each of these have a layer mask, but this doesn't have it. So you want to create a layer mask within the shape of this selection. So after you've selected this, you just simply go down, while on the cave layer, you go down here and click on mask. Please, do you guys understand that? Mr. Amos, Mr. Kabi, and Mr. Orekai. Please hope you guys understand that. Okay, let me go over that again. Okay, for Mr. Amos' sake, let me go over that again. Control Z, let's just undo what we just did. Control Z, Control D. So we brought in our cave image here. Simply resize it because I want this image here. Maybe you want to see how you can see what's in the image. You can see the head to know where to resize. You can simply just reduce the opacity of this so that you can see through and position your image in any format which you want to have a good position here. Simply leave it this way. Now we have that in place. So let's increase the opacity now that we know how it has been. So now simply clicking on this while on layer one, you hold your control button, control key on your sorry, pardon. You hold your control key on your Windows and simply click on the man layer mask here. Select this. It creates a selection of the man layer marks. So we have to create, since we want to confine the cave layer to the man layer mask, you click on your layer, pardon, you click on your layer mask icon here, and there you go, you have that into your man layer here. So Amos, hope you understand that now. Okay, let's proceed. So when I tried moving this now using my move tool, pardon, try using moving my move tool, you can see I'm actually moving both my image and my layer marks together. So I can make adjustments to my image separately. So I simply Ctrl Z to do that. You come down to, well, what's the name of it? Always changing. Okay. You come down to your cave layer here. This is where you have the cave layer. You see this button in between this little icon here that it links your image to your layer mask. And now we have our layer mask already in place, but we want to move our image. So you have to simply unlink it by clicking on this icon here. This unlinks your image from your layer mask. Now we can move our image separately. Hope you guys got that. Okay. Now we can simply just Ctrl C to transform. Let's resize that image to what we want, or let's resize that. That's like okay. Let's simply just stretch this out. Ctrl Shift on just one point here. Ctrl Shift. We just Ctrl Shift. Stretch out this image, or you can simply hold down your shift, just stretch it out a bit. That'll have a bit nice effect there, and just reposition this here to have this blending effect. Okay, that seems to work out. Let's go back and check our original photo here. Let's just move this up a bit. Okay. And now, after doing that, now we have all our content present here within this image to create this double exposure effect. But you have to blend in these images into one another so that you have this really cool looking double exposure effect. So now to blend this image together, to do this, you have to, first of all, duplicate the man layer here. So we simply go to our man layer. Shortcut to duplicate is Ctrl J when you want to duplicate a layer, or you simply right click on that layer and go to duplicate layer here. I simply just use Ctrl J for your shortcut. Ctrl J, you duplicate the layer. Now you have this man copy here. You simply move this layer to the top of simply move it to the top of the layer pile or the layer stack. You drag it to the top. Now you see there is a layer on top of this man layer is on top of each and every one of these layers. Please hope you guys understood how that went about. Okay, let's proceed. So with your man copy layer being at the top here, we have what we call blend modes. Blend modes. We'll get to that later. They're just around this corner. So we to ensure that our image it's not in a raster based format here, we have to desaturate our image to give you this black and white feel. You can do that using your saturation, your vibrance ion layer here to desaturate your image, or you can simply go to um, an image, adjust, and desaturate, which is the best way to make this. While on the man copy layer, you go to image, just go to image, adjust, you desaturate image, and now you have this black and white feel. Yeah. So let's go back and check. We have the same feel here. This image. So you can see it's coming together. Your image is actually coming together now. Now, but you can see from this, you can see this, but you can't see this because the cave layer is underneath the man copy. But we can't move it on top. Let me see. Maybe you try moving this on top now and see. Okay, let's do it like this. It's gonna go back to the previous way it was before you made this man copy. So let's just leave these on top. And I talked about blend mode just now. Now you have various blend modes to create various effects in Photoshop. So these blend modes, you have them here, which are layers, which you want to apply the effect to selected. You have the blend mode here, and it's on normal, which you see everything normal as it should be. That it's the option is on right now for that layer. But you can simply, when you move across, selecting the various blend modes, you see the various effects they give on your image. Various effects you have on your image. You can really create some really cool looking effects using this blend mode. But the blend we're going to use here for image, we're going to use lighting. Yes, I'm going to use lighting here. Now let's go back and see our original. Okay, coming up, looking like it now. Lighting. As you can see, there is this blending. Let's turn off that effect now. Let's go back to our normal and see the difference here. This and lighting blend mode, giving it this effect of blending in your images. Now you can see the double exposure effect coming in now, right? You guys can see this. Okay. Everything is coming into place. Now we have to blend our images together using the brush tool. Let's simply move this a bit. Let's lock this here. Remove this bit. Because okay, I had to do this because when I want to make my adjustment, I wanted to move this image, but remember it works with layers. With the man copy be on top of each layers, I can't have access to that layer. So when I try moving, I'm moving my man copy image here. So you can simply get access to this by locking this layer. Using this key here, you lock that layer so that when you select on this layer here, now you are selecting directly on that layer and not the first layer there. So we're just going to make a little adjustment here because I want to see effects. Okay, there you go. Hope you guys understood that part to this part now. Like every other thing I just did to this part. Okay, let's continue. And now we're just going to blend this a bit with our brush to blend each of these layers together. Let's simply look at this and find a little bit of contrast here. Move this down a bit, close that there. So we're just going to blend. We're going to blend this image here now to look a bit natural so that you don't see the sharp edges. Yeah. We'll blend this using our brush to select it, shortcut B. Now, we're going to be using a soft brush. Soft brush selected. Selecting the forest mask here. And we'll simply just, no, that's too much. You have to reduce the opacity to, let's say, about 40%. Okay, they have that little effect there. Let's simply zoom in and see. Changes. Simply clean this out. To change there. Okay. Okay. Just have to walk around it. You get that perfect so okay. Picture layers. I have to go back to my mask because I'm working with my mask here. Quickly click on this. Now we have that nice little blending effect here. Hope you guys are following. Okay. So now we're going to make a little changes on the skin because we want it to blend as much as possible. So we're just going to select our man copy layer here, the mask layer of the man copy layer here top. So with our opacity being that's the same, that part seems okay. Let's reduce the opacity a bit more. Blending the forehead, blending the face here. So we have, well, you obviously have to let the head and the show a bit. Just blending. Blending. Increase opacity a bit. Blending. I have this feel of the cave showing more here. Simply blending. Let's take a good look at this. Okay. That's too much blending here. Okay. Little touch here and there. And you get that perfect effect. Let's check out our original image here. This. Okay. It's really a bit too much here. Let's just switch back white and pick some of this area here. Okay, that looks pretty good now with each layers blended in. So now we're going to add a little bit of vignette because let's go back and see. So it's not all white all around. There is this vignette, dark glowy shadow around the image to help bring the image together, looking more of like a canvas. For these pictures you see or this painting. So we just have to blend everything together. And to do this, we make use of a new tool here. First thing, you go back to your background, select your background here, and add a solid color panel here. The color adjustment. Solid color. solid color here, and I'm going to select, I call it color picker. Let's just select a picture, a color that blends from the background. See this green from the tree seems okay. Let's use that there. Obviously, you don't want this like this, so you have to make some adjustments to make this possible. And to make the adjustment possible, I hope you guys are following this. I hope you guys are following. Okay, let me come again about that. All right, just have to take water there. Okay, let's go over that again. Simply delete this layer. Now, to add that vignette effect, you simply come onto your background here. I think let me just make a little bit of adjustment here. With my brush too. My foreground. Sorry, just a minute. I'm going to get rid of some things here. You can see I'm making the adjustments to be visible here, because when I added that vignette, there was some selections around that area. Just increase the opacity a little bit time. Okay. Increasing and switching to my foreground color. We blend this in. Okay, it seems okay. So you see on your background layer, because the next effect we want to add is on our background. So you select your background layer. You go down to these icons here. You have your um, adjustment icon here, where you can add solid color. You simply go to edit, sorry, image, sorry, adjust, and you can add solid color. But every other thing you find there is mainly in the shortcut here. You can simply just click on this and add your solid color. It pops up a color picker, so you can pick whatever color you want to make your background. So we're just going to go for a color that blends with the background here, because from our design here. Go with this. Okay, from the trees. Okay, now you have this. Do you understand to this point? Mr. Orakai, please, do you understand to this one? Okay, thank you. Sorry if there's any mispronunciation of your name. I'm really sorry about that. Okay, now you're going to make use of the gradients tool to create these effects you are seeing around. If I simply toggle this on and off, you see the effects of that. See, it's all white and having that vignette effect. So you get that effect using your gradient tool, and your gradient tool is located here on your toolbar. Select Y on this layer, selecting your gradient tool. Since we want this a little bit of circular gradient effect about it, because you have to choose what kind of effect you want. You have to know what kind of effect you want for making this changeable. We want the circular effect here. So we'll go over to our menu here and click on the basics of color to colorless. Yeah. but you can see it's a bit white there. So I'm just going to change this, double click on this, and the color to black, because I need this black effect, not white. I hope you guys are understanding me now. You guys got that? Okay, let's continue. Then, after changing your color for your gradient to black, so you can see I can't make any changes to this because my gradient 2 is locked to this because it's just for color adjustment only. So you can simply click on the color, solid color mask, and you see your gradient 2 working here. And about the effect, I told you there has to be around. So you come up to this top menu here, you find various options. Here you have the linear gradient, radial gradient, the radial gradient. You have the angle reflected gradient and the equal or the diamond gradient. But want a radial effect, so click on the radial gradient. And from a point here, zoom out a bit, from maybe if you point from the center of your image, you click and drag down. You have that effect. If you're not satisfied, let's increase that a bit. Click and drag more. Okay. Please hope you guys understand to this point, so that I can go over it again if you don't understand. Okay, I should go over that again. Okay. Let me go over that again. Control Z to undo. Now, with my gradient to select, you understand to the point where you select your black to colorless gradient here. Or you can simply click on this. Maybe when you are trying to view design, it's usually on this color panel here. You click on this two here. Let me go over this one and select your basics. It's going to be like this for you. Basics and black to colorless. Remember, I told you when you have those boxes, pixels here, it's colorless. So you color to colorless. So I click on that and I have that there. So I want to change this color from black to colorless because I have white. I double click on the color panel here and select my color here. We know the color codes for black, 0 in 6 places. Enter, and you're okay with that. So now we want the radial effect on this picture. So we click on the radial gradient. So you have the linear gradient. Let me just go through this so that you see how each of these works. Let's the gradient can work. Remember, it must be on the gradient solid color mask layer to do this. So now I'm on the linear gradient. When I click what I just did now, yeah, you see it's linear. The colors are evenly split from black to colorless because our background is white. So it's black to colorless. So we don't want that. Let's use the reflected one here. You can see the reflection round here. Same with other effect here. So we're trying to get a vignette effect around this image. So we use the radial gradient too here. So with your solid color mask layer selected here, you go to pick a point, like preferably the center because you want to achieve a radial effect. You click and drag down to get your desired vignette effect, and you have that effect. If you're not satisfied with that, you can simply drag and increase distance, get that effect there. Okay, hope you guys understand that to this point now. Okay, let's continue. Thank you. So maybe you have this effect being too much. Okay, let's just go back and see the back to our move to go back and see how it is in our other image. You can simply just have this little vignette effect around this. And to get that little effect now, while this is selected, we can simply reduce our fill, that vignette, reducing our fill here. There are two ways to reduce the fill. Either you do this and changes maybe 50 what you want, or you simply put your mouse icon here on this fill until it brings out this arrow, or you have these two arrows at both sides. You simply click and drag on both sides to increase and reduce your um numbers. So let's just give it that little color so that we'll have that bit of white around it. I think 27. It's okay. So you have that effect. Now, looking at this and looking at this is how you get your double exposure using Photoshop. I hope you guys understood what I just did now. Okay, nice. So we can simply just readjust this now because we want this a bit squared out. We can use our crop tool. Now we're going to make use of our crop tool to resize this image. Who can tell me the shortcut for the crop tool? Fastest fingers. Correct. The crop tool here with the shortcut C. With the crop tool selected now, we can simply crop. Now you have each of those panels here where you can drag, just like your transform tool, you can drag and click to the dimension which you want. Let's just reduce this a bit, and this part a bit. So we'll have this centered image here. Okay, so when you're okay with your selection, you simply click enter or using this icon here, good. And it resizes your image to what you want. You can simply increase the vignette a bit. Let's give it that gloomy look. Okay, now this looks perfect. So this is how you make your double exposure effects using Photoshop. We're just going to go back to our slides here. Control C here if you guys are both correct. So guys, we've come to the end of today's lecture. I hope you guys enjoyed the lecture for today. I hope you guys learned something. You guys learned a lot when it comes to Photoshop and photo manipulation and exposure effect. And I would like each and every one of you. Yes, there are so much processes for just one picture. It's all about getting your desired effects, just something really cool. You see, it takes lots of time and lots of getting practice to get used to each and every one of these steps. So I would like you guys, as your task, you will have to create a double exposure image. It doesn't need to be very complex as of this, but you can tax yourself to create a double effect exposure image like this one we are having here. So I hope you guys will make us proud by creating a good double exposure effect. Okay, you said the first time you are seeing such. Yeah, you can just Google, check online, and check for double exposure effects. You see various effects. You must have seen some art canvas you see people draw. But these are, you can actually use Photoshop to get that desired effect. So I want you guys to do that's your task for this week. Submit the usual time before Thursday as your deadline. Create a double exposure effect image and just do your best and ensure comes out good and share it on our social media platform at Studihub. You can share it on your social media platform and tag Studihub Academy. And you can also tag me too on my Instagram handle, Imadanwell or underscore graphics or Imadan underscore well. Instagram, you can share the images with me so that we can get to like and distribute your work to the world. So thank you very much.
Wow, that was a very, very challenging session we had with Emmanuel. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, everyone, I hope you really learned a lot. As I said, do not forget to attempt your quizzes. There will be another quiz also today, please. We'll be sending you the link to that so you can start testing your knowledge. How much have you learned? Tell us where you are having challenges so that by the time we come back for next class or during the week, we can go over it, put you through the things that you don't really get. So please, please, please make sure you do the quiz, watch the videos, attempt the assignments, and do all of that. And then Emmanuel mentioned portfolio. Please, please, please take this time as an opportunity for you to start building your portfolio. I hope you are here with me, everyone. You can unmute your mics. Class is over.